Massive news just dropped this morning in the NBA because the Detroit Pistons are getting their flamethrower back. Malik Beasley has been cleared of any wrongdoing when it comes to the gambling allegations, and now that he's back, it opens the paint up even more for Cade Cunningham. And remember, Malik Beasley was their third leading scorer last season. This is going to make the Pistons go from a mid-level seed to a team that legitimately could jump up to a top 3 seed in a weakened Eastern Conference next year. But in all seriousness, Malik Beasley coming back is massive for the Pistons because people don't realize it, but he was their third leading scorer last season. He put up 16.3 points a night, 2.7 rebounds, and 1.6 assists in 28 minutes a game. Remarkable efficiency on terms of a points per minute basis. Shot 43% from the field and 42% from 3 on 9.3 attempts. He was second in the league in three-pointers made, missed out on Anthony Edwards' mark by just 1. And yes, he is an unrestricted free agent, so the Pistons need to do whatever they can to get him back. But he said he's going to be back. He said he wants to be in Detroit. They signed him to a 1-year prove-it deal, and man, he proved it. And now this is what their lineup's going to be looking like with Jaden Ivey back in the fold. You've got Cade and Jaden, and then Azar Thompson, Tobias Harris, and Jalen Duren. And then off the bench, you have even more firepower now with Caris LeVert, Malik Beasley, Year 2 Ron Holland, Duncan Robinson, and Isaiah Stewart. This is a stacked up lineup, and man, it looks even better by the day for Cade Cunningham, who is going into his age 24 season and is establishing himself as one of the premier point guards in the NBA. But man, getting Malik Beasley back would open things up so much more, especially when you add in the fact that they're getting Duncan Robinson and Caris LeVert. The dude is going to be feasting this year, driving into the lane, kicking to shooters, and by the time the end of the game rolls around, the lane is going to be so wide open for Cade. He's 6'6", 215, got a big-time frame on him, and yeah, he's a pick-and-roll specialist coming off this beef stew screen right there. But last year, he averaged 26 a night with 9 assists and 6 rebounds with 1 steal in 35 minutes per game, shot 47% from the field and 36% from 3. There need to be serious conversations going on about how good Cade Cunningham really is, because the dude is a stud. He is, without a doubt, a franchise player. They just locked him up on a 5-year, $270 million contract, and it was a fantastic move. But, I mean, it was very obvious, securing your star for the long term. When it comes to re-signing Beasley, the Pistons still have a good amount of cap space left. They got about $30 million before the first apron and 42 before the second apron. So they have tons of flexibility in the future. And looking at Cade, the most impressive thing to me is his efficiency. Just going up year after year, the field goal efficiency and the three-point percentage up to 37% this year. That is a force to be reckoned with. That's a legit three-point shooter, especially on the volume that he got and the difficulty of those attempts. Now, he had a decent playoff run, 25 a game with 8.7 assists, 8.3 rebounds, and 3.1 stocks in 41 minutes a game. The reason I say it was decent was because he was 43% shooting from the field and 18% from 3. So right as I was talking about his three-point percentage, it was rough in the playoffs. But the Knicks have 2 elite perimeter defenders, 2 point-of-attack defenders, tag teaming Cade all series long. He was still able to exploit some gaps in their defense in the pick-and-roll coverages because they were without Mitchell Robinson for a good majority of this series. But on top of Beasley, the biggest reinforcements coming back for the Pistons are going to be Jaden Ivey. The guy that looked like he was breaking out last season before he got injured and missed the last 52 games of the season. Ivey was legitimately looking like that long-term pairing beside of Cade Cunningham for the next 10 to 15 years. Ivey's 6'4" with that 6'10" wingspan, so he plays above 6'4", plays more like 6'5", 6'6", something like that, but he is a super athletic guard, can get downhill in a hurry, averaged almost 18 a game last year with 4.1 assists and 4 rebounds in 30 minutes a night. Really good points per minute efficiency, just like we talked about with Beasley. 46% shooting from the field and 41% from 3. And just like with Cade Cunningham, his three-point percentage just continues to go up year after year after year. He will be just 23 years old next season, so he is definitely a guy that you could be looking at as, yeah, this is the long-term answer next to Cade Cunningham. And there were question marks about that, but I think those question marks are gone. If I was the Pistons, that's who I would go with, especially when, you look at the additions they brought in free agency to bolster up that bench, and then the pieces they have around them, which we will talk about later, the young forwards that they have. As for Caris LeVert, they bring him in on a 2-year, $29 million deal, and this is a really good addition to the bench. A 3-and-D wing that is a solid defender at 6'6" with that 6'10" wingspan, but he can also really score. He's one of those guys that if you turned on a random League Pass Wednesday night game, you'd think Caris LeVert was a superstar if you didn't know much about the league if you catch him on the right night. With Atlanta, he averaged 15 points, 3.7 rebounds, and 3 assists in 26 minutes, shot 47% from the field and 37% from 3 on 4.5 attempts per game. And like I said, he's the perfect guy to come in. He can fit along Cade Cunningham. You could even see him starting some nights if Jaden Ivey is not playing well. He's the perfect 3-and-D wing to place alongside of Cade and is a much better defender than Malik Beasley is. Now, not quite as good, obviously, from beyond the arc, but he is more than serviceable. And then a guy that is an absolute marksman is Duncan Robinson, who they bring in from the Miami Heat to just spread the floor because that's what he does best. They signed him to a 3-year, $48 million contract, which looks pretty steep, but only the first year on that is guaranteed, so they can waive him for pretty much no penalty at any time. After that first year, 11 points per game, 2.4 rebounds, 2.4 assists, and 0.5 steals in 24 minutes a game last year for Duncan. Shot 44% from the field and 39% from 3 on 6.5 attempts. All of these attempts were, of course, very difficult because he is flying off screens. He's a fantastic spacer. Now, this one wasn't too difficult. That's pretty much a free throw, but he's going to open things up a ton for Cade Cunningham and company, Jaden Ivey, to slash into the paint and get buckets. Now, they do lose Tim Hardaway Jr., who was like Malik Beasley 2.0, and originally that's what they were thinking, was they're going to lose both, so they replace him with Duncan Robinson and Caris LeVert, but now they might even be able to get Malik Beasley back. And then you combine that with the fact that Ron Holland looked like a different monster in the Summer League action that we got to see him play this year. The three-pointer, it looked sharp. His shooting stroke looked very, very smooth and fluid, and as a guy that didn't really shoot the 3-ball well last year, he had a little bit of a hitch in it, as you can see, comparing this summer's shot, which is very smooth, to last year's 3-point shot, which if you look at the top, it has a little bit of a hitch in it coming from the left side of his body to the right. It looks like he has smoothed that up, and of course he's always been a super athletic wing at 6'7" with a 6'11" wingspan. Obviously very scrappy. He even worked out of the pick and roll this year, getting into step back threes for Ron Holland. The progression is wild. 6.4 points a game, 2.7 rebounds, and 19 minutes a night. Played 81 games last year as a rookie. Shot 47% from the field. Now, only shot 24% from 3, but still, he is a very athletic wing that is going to develop very nicely here in Detroit. Then you've got Azar Thompson, who is 6'7" with that 7-foot wingspan, and just like his brother Amin down in Houston, can absolutely lock up on the defensive side of the ball. Watch him trail this screen from Zach LaVine here, still going to contest. That's a very, very underrated asset to have as a guy that can play such great trail coverage and can just take out the other team's best player. 10.7 points a game, 5.1 rebounds, 2.3 assists, and 1.7 steals last year, and again, very limited minutes, very efficient for his minutes played. And then just watch him lock up the NBA MVP right here for a few possessions. Didn't have the greatest 3-point percentage, but that is something they can work on. Ron Holland showed that he can get better from beyond the arc, so there's no reason Azar Thompson can't. He has been hit by a little more injuries than his brother down in Houston, but the progression should still be coming along very nicely. They still have Tobias Harris as well, who will be their third option offensively on a night-to-night basis. Yeah, this Detroit Pistons team looks very, very good. They shouldn't be sneaking up on anybody this season because they only got better from last year, assuming they re-signed Malik Beasley. With that being said, that's going to be it for today's video. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to hit the like button, leave me a comment down below, and hit that subscribe button if you did enjoy at any point. And with that being said, thanks so much for watching today's video.